What's up, guys? All right, back with the Art of Banter part 5. I'm going to be looking at some of my text conversations and show you guys how to have good witty replies on these apps, how you can stand out among the infinite amount of other dudes on these apps try to get dates, right? So let's crack in. So this girl, this first conversation, this was a girl from Budapest, and there was this crazy festival going on, and she was talking about how she was there to see a certain band perform. So I kind of play off that, and I'm just like, I'm here for whatever her name is, what time will she perform? So this is what I call an observational opener, and this is the best way to open on these apps, is when you can look at something specifically about the girl, about her profile, and reference that in an opener, you know, in a way that's intriguing, that kind of pulls them in. So this, you know, it's pretty easy for her to respond to. She's just like, haha, she doesn't. And then I'm like, wow, she sucks, I want my money back. So a bit of push-pull, a bit of just, you know, being polarizing, but being playful at the same time, just teasing. And then she's just like, fuck you. And then I'm like, not yet, buy me dinner first. Like, this doesn't even fully make sense, right? Like, buy me dinner first. You know, she's saying fuck you, so I misinterpret that as like she's saying she wants to fuck me, you know what I mean? Which is like a fun little, like, yeah, misinterpretation. And it makes enough sense for her to get what I'm saying, you know? And then she's like, oh, high class escort, fine, if that's what it takes. So she plays along with it, and then I'm like, yes, the highest, all the way from Australia, just to give you the best pleasure. So obviously, if you're traveling somewhere like Budapest, somewhere like that, you actually seem like exotic to them, you know, being from Australia and that type of thing. So I would refer to that as displaying value, right? Because that's a valuable characteristic to have. And this is what you want to do on these apps. You want to be able to display valuable things about yourself to them, right? So then this conversation goes on. She sends me just like a tongue face, which can be a little bit annoying. But again, I'm just like reframing everything to be like a positive for me. So I'm just like, that tongue has better uses, you know, just that was what came to mind. And then she's like, oh, really? Like what? And it's worth mentioning, I've said this before, but it's just like, I think in abstract ways. So it's like, if I see a tongue face emoji, I allow myself to like think in a way where I'm like, okay, what relates to a tongue? And it's like, you know, obviously like that, there's plenty you can do with that. But just allowing yourself to look, it's fucking fly, just allowing yourself to see things and interpret things in a more open-minded, more like abstract way could really help a lot. And then she's like, oh, really? Like what? And then I'm like, could be somewhat explicit, sure you want to know. And then she's like, well, you started something, now you have to finish your idea. And then I'm like, being part of a passionate kiss, sucking my finger as I pull your hair, teasing my cock with it before I shove it deep down your throat, that type of thing. So getting sexual, as you can see, and then she plays along with that. And then she pretty much soft closes on me, like, haha, I've got to see it to believe it, you know, so that goes in that direction. All right, so here's another one. This is a good opener right now. It's like, that last photo is very misleading. Now, this is what I refer to as like bait. It's like, why is my photo misleading? She's going to be asking about that. And that's because she's like, that's because I have multiple personalities, which is great, right? She plays along with it, and I'm like, perfect, bring all 7 to our romantic date. So this is a good example of a solid opener that really hooks them in, that makes it easy for them to reply. All right, so on to the next one. So this next one, I see on her profile that she has her star signs on there. And whenever I see that, you know, it tells me that they actually believe in that type of thing. So I have a bit of knowledge around this, like I know about different star signs and what they mean. So I use that to my advantage, you know, so I see that she's a Cancer, you know, obviously I'm a Capricorn, and it is true that they have really good polarity, and I've experienced that. So I say here, I'm just like, Cancer and a Capricorn, good polarity right there. And then she's like, you think our energies match. Now, why is this a good opener? It just opens up so much potential in conversation, you know, if she's really into that. So many ways you can say like, oh, you know, Capricorn has these types of traits, you know, Cancer has these. And of course, like, if you know about the Cancers and Capricorns, you'll know that there's definitely this vibe of like, you know, Capricorns are obviously generally dominant leaders, that type of thing, and Cancers tend to be like, you know, like kind of loving, like open-hearted, loving, you know, they can be people pleasers and shit. So it creates potential for some really good, you know, frames to be set and stuff like that. So I love to point that out. And it also just, you want to point out things that kind of like bring you two together into like an us kind of frame, and that, yeah, just like drive it home why you should date, essentially. So then she's like, you think our energy is a match? And then it's like, can't know for sure unless we meet, but from feeling into your photos, I think there's a good chance. And then it's like, then she says like, same feelings from me, like, why are you in Hungary? And then here I just give like, you know, displaying value again, like just here for fun and adventure. I run a business online, so I'm a bit of a traveling nomad. What about you? This is the typical answer I give when they're like, oh, okay, what, like, why are you here? Like, why are you, sound like I'm dying. Why are you traveling? This is a response I'll give, like just here for fun and adventure, you know, traveling around. Like obviously that displays a very high value lifestyle, but I say it in a very casual way. And then she's like, oh, that sounds awesome. I live here, I'm half Hungarian, half Russian. I'm like, good combination. I like Russians. They're usually very real and honest. Would you say you are too? You know, and then she's qualifying on that. So I'm kind of baiting her into qualifying, which is really good. That's something you want to do. But yeah, so this is just a few examples of like what my conversations look like, just a little bit of insight into how I think, how I text. If you want to really master this shit and you really want to learn the concepts, the principles behind it, well, that's what I have in my online video course, which is called God Mode, Online Dating Mastery. And this is also what I coach people on in my 12-week programs. So every week, you know, I'm looking through everyone's Tinders, I'm texting live, sometimes even for them, really breaking down in depth what I'm doing, like in real time with real conversations, you know, and these guys are going from barely any dates to fucking crushing it, right? And people underestimate how important texting actually is and the skill that goes into it, and how all of these principles apply to all interaction with women and just people in general, right? So it's just like, these are just social skills that apply to everything, but obviously I'm focusing on it with texting. So yeah, with that in mind, if you're someone who really wants to crush it, you're sick of just getting a date here and there or no dates at all, and you want to have consistency, you want to be able to systemize your dating life, you want to be able to get 3-4 dates a week with like quality women every fucking week, you know, without having to go to clubs, without having to do day game, without having to waste your time on all that other bullshit because you got better things to do, well then I would suggest hitting me up. Email is in the description and we can have a chat personally, me and you, and I can talk about what we offer, and yeah, we can go from there. I look forward to meeting you, and yeah, we'll speak soon.